Hello DevOps people, I'm Jochen, welcome to my live coding stream. Today I am going to continue a topic that has accompanied me for a while now, which is continuous integration. And since we need a new Docker image, I thought, okay, let's combine building a Docker image with continuous integration. That way I can solve the issue we have on the team, namely we need an image that allows us to SSH into a shell and build an example workflow for building these images in CI and automatically pushing them to the Docker hub. And that's the agenda for today. I guess it'll be enough to fill the time until 5. But before I start, I have to thank my follower Dheg for giving me my first subscription ever. I didn't notice that he or she did it right at the end of my last session on Thursday, and so I didn't get to say thank you back then, which is the first thing that I wanted to do today. You really made my day. Even though I'm not doing this stream for financial reasons, I was more than happy to see this gesture of appreciation. So thank you so much. Hey Dev, hi, hello, how are you? I'm fine. Today's a bit of a holiday for myself because it's May Day in Germany. Even though I'm based in Ireland, most of our customers come from Germany, and it's a very quiet day today, so I got to focus on the things I wanted to do, which at the moment is my live stream. So welcome to the stream, Dev, hi. And let's see sorry, what we can do today. I hope you're fine too. So, okay, to be honest, it's not the first time that I'm going to do Docker images or CI. I did this in the past. If I recall it correctly, I even did it on the stream in one of my early sessions. Sorry. However, I have to admit I almost forgot everything, and so this will be some kind of a catch-up session for myself as well. You're a DevSecOps engineer. Oh, that's a brilliant job, and very interesting. DevOps combined with security is a great topic. Currently working in Kubernetes and OpenShift. Yeah, OpenShift is basically Kubernetes, isn't it? And yeah, that's pretty near what I'm going to do here. We have started using another orchestration software named Container. I'll quickly open it up in my browser. Container is well, you could call it a competitor of Kubernetes, but it's much simpler, and since it perfectly fits our needs at the moment, we decided to go with Container for the time being, which doesn't take away anything from Kubernetes. It's a very powerful thing. But I was afraid that it would be too overwhelming for a start. So, yeah, just to give you a bit of context, let me see. Let me see if I can show you the container file that we had been working on about a week ago, but I'm not even sure if we actually pushed it to the repository. An API gateway management for Kubernetes container. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you there. We are still at the beginning of our orchestration journey and didn't have to build an API gateway so far. We'll probably have to do that at some point to access our own web hosting API, but since that's not exactly public at the moment, we didn't have the need yet. So let's see. Yeah, just as I feared, the actual container file isn't on master, but no, not even in a branch. Okay, so I'll simply narrate what we had been doing. So we tried successfully to move our internal operations wiki, which is based on DokuWiki, to our container platform. So we built a DokuWiki image, and it was quite easy to launch it. And within half an hour or so, we had our own wiki running in container. However, we needed to find a way to transfer all our existing documents that are stored in a DokuWiki instance running on one of our servers to the new container-based and Docker-based wiki. However, container runs all its containers in an overlay network, which is encrypted, so you would have to have VPN access to get direct access to a container, and we didn't bother with setting up OpenVPN and all that stuff. It might even have been easy, but it sounded too complicated. So we said, okay, why not build a container image that has our OpenSSH keys, where we can log in at any time, use SCP or SFTP or something like that to transfer files into a volume that the image would have to have mounted beforehand. We'll need that anyway. As soon as we are starting more and more containers on our platform, we will have to have some kind of maintenance container that we can simply spin up, connect to a volume, or connect to another container, and then be able to do some basic maintenance. Or simply access logs that aren't yet transferred to a central logging infrastructure or something like that. So that's what I'm going to build today. In order to do that, I'll create a new repository. Let me see. We should already have some Docker repositories in here. And we could even use the space image. It's pretty old. Last updated beginning of last year, since we haven't done much with it so far. However, it already has a CI file for CircleCI, and we could simply adapt this to Travis CI, which we are not using now. Since it's a basic Ubuntu image, which has some basic plumbing for initialization scripts and things like that, why not use it for our maintenance container as well? Okay, so the name schema is Freestyle Docker. And let me see the name of the image, Freestyle Base Trusty. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Let's launch a new repository. Freestyle Docker OpenSSH. Docker image for OpenSSH service for maintenance. I'll go ahead and make it a public repository. There won't be any secrets in there. The most sensitive thing would be our own public SSH keys. But yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue. So okay, so that's that, still empty. And now let's go back to our base image, and I guess I'll simply create a Dockerfile. Well, why not simply clone this repository as well? Let me quickly enter my SSH password so I don't have to enter this anymore. Okay, so what I need is the rake file, because with that rake file we'll be building this image. The image name will be OpenSSH. And we can simply use this as our base image. So I'll go ahead and create a Dockerfile. Freestyle base trusty. And rake build should work. Okay. Yes, we don't have any commits yet in this repository, so this one git command I'm using to determine the tag doesn't work yet. Okay, that looks good. And the command should probably be OpenSSH, but we'll have to first install OpenSSH, and I think I'll simply copy the Dockerfile as well. First name Docker base, Dockerfile. And so we have all the necessary plumbing in place. We'll use FrySteel / base trusty SR. Don't think we'll need this. That's part of the base setup. And the command will be OpenSSH, SSHD probably. And we'll have to find out how to launch SSHD exactly, but I think there will be plenty of OpenSSH Docker images available. There's even a tutorial for this. So what they do is SSHD and simply -D, and we'll need to expose port 22. Yep. Okay, we'll see if this SSH login fix is necessary. I can retrofit that at any time. So let's try and see how this works. Dev, hi. You mentioned that you opened the stream at work. Is that something that's common at your workplace? Are you even encouraged to watch streams and screencasts and things like that? Okay. OpenSSH couldn't be installed. It's OpenSSH server. Okay. That's better. I'm not sure if this is a problem. Policy RC denied execution of start. We'll see. Well, let's give it a try. Docker run. First thing, OpenSSH. Varan SSHD needs to be created, so that's actually in here. We'll do this after the setup. Hey, low FPS, how you doing? Never thought about using Ruby to run commands. I always let fish memorize it. Yeah, I could use the shell history as well. However, we do use Ruby for almost everything we do, if it's not the simplest of shell scripts, and so having everything Ruby based makes it actually easier for us. And for example, just being able to run rake test and get your tests running, regardless if it's a Ruby on Rails web application or a kind of automation script or a command line application or something else, just having this convention makes things easier for us. And even though it might seem a bit overboard to automate these simple things, you could do them as well with a bash script or a fish script, of course. It does make sense for us. Okay, so let's try and run it another time. Of course, I could simply copy everything from the web page and it'll probably work. However, first of all, I don't want to practice cargo cult just because someone else did it that way. I don't have to do it the same way. It might even be outdated. And I'd really like to understand what happens in these scripts, and so I'm doing it step by step. Requires a bit more patience, and I'd like to ask you to bear with me. However, I think the learning effect is much bigger. So, well, from the looks of it, it's actually running, so let me see how that looks like. Yep, we have a container running, but we forget to map the port. So I'll go and kill this container. Oh, it's Layer Darth. Welcome back. Hey, good to have you here. How you doing? You made your first Ruby gem on Sunday. Congratulations. Yeah, you are a real powerhouse. Building Laravel applications, building Ruby gems. That's brilliant. If there's a public link to it, I'd love to see what you've done. Okay, so let's map. That's minus P should. Oh, I didn't expose the port. Okay, that's another thing I need to do. Expose 22. Let's build a new version. So it's not quite ready yet. Okay, no problem. You wrote a git hook script in Ruby which aborts a commit if its message contains any profanities. Oh, that's hilarious. May I assume that's a common occurrence at your place? Okay, you need to share the context or the background to this. Okay, Docker run. Oops. See, I even forgot how Docker run works. It is actually minus hyphen capital P, but I might have to put it in front of the image. Here we go, and it's mapped to 32768. Nice. Oh, I was so curious where you'd get your list of your blacklist, and you're actually using an API call. Nice. Okay, I'll have a look at that in detail later, but that's brilliant. I didn't even know there was an API that can tell you things contain profanities. See, that's exactly why I'm doing the stream, not only for you as the viewers to learn, but also for myself. Okay, so I should be able to at least connect to the container. Of course, since I don't have a key on it, I'll be thrown out. Okay, it'll ask me for a password, but that means there is OpenSSH listening. Okay, that looks great. I wanted to learn more about git hooks because I can see how useful they can be for our company. Yep, git hooks are a great thing for automating stuff that is somehow connected to code check-ins. For example, our managed hosting platform, FrySteelBox, works with git hooks as well. Our customers just need to push their code updates to a Git repository, and then they automatically get deployed to a fleet of servers and launched. And the customer doesn't have to do any FTP uploading or things like that. They simply push their updates as soon as they are committed, and within seconds they are live on a cluster of web application servers. And you're right, you don't necessarily run CI for that. CI can help you in the phase before deployment to run tests or build some kind of artifacts or something like that, but it's definitely not required. Okay. The only thing that that comes to mind is that you can't put git hooks into the repository itself, can you? So they are basically only installed locally, aren't they? So if, in order to have something that is used by the whole team, you'd even have to have some kind of deployment in place that installs your hook script on each dev machine. All right. So next step, deploy SSH keys. I'll probably don't have to create the root directory, but yeah, copy the authorized keys file to /root. Oh, I need to create the SSH directory then. Authorized keys. /root.ssh, run change mod. Oh, 700. And I'll start with my own authorized keys file. It's not mkdir, it's run mkdir, right? Yeah. And I think mkdir can even take a mode, can't it? So I don't have to run two commands. Yep, I'll just pass it in with -m. All right. You wrote an FTP client in Node, okay. With an automatic backup functionality. Interesting. Okay, why isn't there? Okay. So let's use my window number 4 for running the container. You're perfectly right. The worst thing with FTP and SFTP hosting is people directly uploading files. Yeah, that's just bad practice. That's why we decided, okay, back in 2010, when we started building our web hosting platform, it was pretty ambitious to require customers to use Git to deploy their websites. However, we actually decided to ask them to jump through this hoop because we knew it would be better in the long run, not only for us, but for our customers themselves. And in 2018, it's just not a big deal anymore. So, now we have a new port number, of course. be able to use the root account. Nope. Why not? Dropping names of the competition in my chat. I'll have to edit this out later. Where are the moderators when you need them? So, even though I'd expect the default OpenSSH configuration to refuse root login, I didn't expect it to ask for a password, since I thought I'd have the authorized keys file in there. Let me take a look at that. So with docker exec, I should get a shell. There is an SSH directory. There is an authorized keys. And it actually contains the keys, my keys. But still, it asks me for my root password, which I don't have. -- privileged parameters may help. Thanks, Dev. Hi. I take a look, but let me try something else first, because I'm pretty sure that the default configuration won't allow me to do a root login anyway. Of course, I don't have an editor, but let's just verify what I'd have to disable password authentication. The error, it's not actually an error. If I try to connect to the container, it asks me for the root password, which I A, don't have, and B, don't want to have. So I wonder why it even asks me for the root password in the first place. It does permit root login without password, which is okay for me. It probably means that if I have a key, I get in. If I don't have a key, I don't. Why does it ask for the root password then? That's strange. And I think I might have to change the authorized keys permissions as well, because no, they're as tight as they can be. Huh. That's strange. Maybe the logs can tell us something. There aren't any. Okay. Let me see. If I run it with -d, will not detach and does not become a daemon. Yeah, that's exactly what we need in the Docker context. I wonder why there isn't any log output though. SSH config command page, password authentication specifies whether password authentication is allowed. The default is yes. I could try to set it to no, you're right. What does without password mean? Let's find out. OpenSSH permit root login. If this option is set to without password, password authentication is disabled for root. And if it's set to no, root is not allowed to log in. Yeah, I'd like to be able to log in as root. At least until I have it running. That way it's a little bit more simple. Thus, without password allows root login only with the public key authentication. Yeah, that's exactly what I want at the moment. Oh yeah, I know why I don't see any logs, because I have to run it with -t, I think. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and Docker kill it. Still no log output though. Okay. New port. Forgot the root login. Let's take another look. We could run it with minus lowercase d as well to run it in debug mode. Let's give this a try, because I really want to know. Straight build. Okay. Yep, and run it in the other terminal. Let's try and take a look at the logs. Okay, so, okay, we have at least some log output. That's good. And now let's try and add localhost. Let's see. Okay, it gets a connection. Attempt 1, failure 0, pre-auth. Trying public key file. Failed public key for root. That is strange. Accept. No, I actually copied my authorized keys file. Why does it fail? Is it something obvious like my current key isn't contained in the file? It's B3 and ends with NBYL9. Oh, come on, you must be kidding me. It's actually not in my official authorized keys file. Well then, wait. Oh, it's read-only, right? Still? Yeah, I think I found the error because it was simply that my local SSH public key isn't contained in the file I created and I used. So that's interesting because that shouldn't have happened in the first place, but I'll have to look at that later. So why can't I? Oh, isn't owner. Dear me, maybe I should get a bit more sleep. Alright, that should work now. Well, you have to be a bit more patient with me. I have been using Linux only for the past 20 years or so. Since 1993 to be exact. So it's 25 years, is it? something like that. Okay, another build. And where's my OpenSSH? Has it vanished? I've already killed it, have I? Okay. Okay. Next port. Seven, 2. Passphrase, that's correct. And I'm in and out again, and that's probably because of the issue that has been mentioned here. Another gem today. As I said, yeah, you're productive as hell. Oh no, I haven't been thrown out. I have my root shell here. I just got a few errors. However, I'm in the container. I have my SSH connection. So I might want to have some locale stuff fixed. And this PAM thing. Let's see if I can resolve this. Oh, and actually, when I disconnect, it shuts down. Oh, that's what minus what hyphen D does, isn't it? Let's see. That's interesting. I'm in. Container is still running. I leave the container and it shuts down. Okay. That's actually not the behavior I would like. But first, let's try and see if we can fix this. I still get the same error message, so I'll go ahead and delete this again. I guess I'll have to install locale as well. but that's fine-tuning. Now let's go ahead and see if I can get it to run permanently. I guess I'll just strongly considering a move from PHP to Ruby. Yeah, that's I really can relate. I started to use let's look at PHP first. So my first version of PHP that I worked with was PHP 3, right when it got renamed from PHP FI to PHP. And only a few years ago I started using Ruby on Rails, and it's so much more fun, not only because of the language, because of all the tooling around it, testing and all these things. And there are gems for everything, and they are not 5 years behind like the PHP guys. Yeah. PHP does get development, don't get me wrong, and the people around PHP are doing a great job, I guess, but they have to work with what they have, and so they can't just throw away half of the language decisions they have made over time. So I would like to have SSHD to not detach, but I also would like to have it run permanently. I don't see that's possible. Oh, it's my -D, that's the debug mode. Okay, my fault. So I guess I only have to not use debug mode, and it'll actually keep running. In and out, and the container is still running. Okay, so let's call this our MVP. What I like about Ruby is that, say with Laravel, you have all those custom commands like array reduce, which you can get in regular PHP, but you have to create those array filters yourself as custom filters, whereas Ruby provides them all by default. Yeah, because they are either part of the language or at least part of the framework. Yeah, filters like array reject, grep, map, and all that stuff. I love that stuff, especially if you are able to chain them like you do on a Unix command line. Okay, so let's do docker kill, and I guess that's our first commit. Okay, now let's take a look at the CI part. Now, I would like to use Travis CI to watch this repository. So I'll add a new repository. In this case, interesting. Why isn't it in there? And why are only these two in there and not even our year-old base trustee? Do we have to have a Travis CI file in there? I don't suppose this one does. Docker CDN cache. Nope. No, that's strange. Maybe I'll have to wait for a minute or so. So for the time being, let's build the Travis CI YAML file. Read our docs. Using Docker in your build. Well, yeah, I need to have that. Is it .travis? Yeah. So, using a Docker image from a repository in a build. We'll have to use language Ruby because we're going to use rake. So we'll need a gem file as well. Building a Docker image from a Dockerfile, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we'll simply run rake build. And then rake push, but one step at a time. Okay. Gem file. We don't have any in the original road, do we? yeah, just if you have any advice, if you have any feedback, let me know. Don't maintain Squarespace sites for clients. Well, first of all, yeah. No, I'd actually be interested why, because Squarespace seems to be big for a reason. I don't expect our customers to use Squarespace because they pay a lot of money to us for running a managed hosting platform which is based on a lot of clusters and servers for them. However, I'd be interested if maybe I should not recommend Squarespace to friends and family if they want to run their own website without having us as their hosting company. Okay, so first in Docker, and there is trusty. There is a gem file, hooray! Shouldn't be big. Okay. Interesting. It's actually more than I expected. We won't need the JUnit formatter, I guess. Let's throw this away, because at the moment we don't use it. So if I run bundle install, then bundle exec break build, that should work, right? Okay. So my basic Travis file should run as well, provided Travis allows us. To build it. Oh, we are. Yeah, you only need to be able to read. We are only showing your private repositories. You can find your public projects on travisci.org. So in that case, we don't even have to pay Travis to run it here. Fortunately, they use the same interface. Here we go. I did enable it, didn't I? Here we go. Okay, so let's force a build. So let's see, Slayer. You are using the npm package from Squarespace. Has a pop-up. You know, it would only not displaying the pop-up, but the child elements in the document is also. Okay. It might simply be a bug. I wouldn't be too quick to blame Squarespace. Oh, Docker build. Cannot connect to the Docker daemon. So rake, try to run the build. Oh, it automatically calls rake, even though I have provided a script. Interesting. Lots of stuff. Where's the point it actually runs Docker though? You know what that looks like. There is no terrace CI file. Have I pushed it? Guess I did not. Oh dear. It's not my best day today. At least this will trigger a new build automatically. At some point, I guess. Here we go. So the first build just saw that there was a rake file and used the defaults for running Ruby jobs. That's why it called rake. And yeah, of course, rake build didn't find the Docker daemon. Now it should use my configuration. And yeah, here we go, bundle exec rake build. It pulls the trusty base image, installs OpenSSH server. Yep. And it tagged it with latest. Should it also use the commit ID as a tag? Nope. That's when we push the image, okay. It tags it with a git SHA and pushes it, and tags it with latest and pushes it as latest. Okay. So in order to do that, we need to have some kind of credentials, and I'll set them as environment variables. Okay. Okay. Well, that seems to be a bit tricky, and I'm a bit afraid that it will log my credentials in the CI build log. So I'll try this later. It's not too enlightening anyway. I simply set a Docker username and Docker password to a login, and then I can use the script deploy provider to run rake push if we are on the master branch. Okay, we can do this inside the rake script. Yeah, that would be possible. Okay. Okay, we could simply integrate this into our push task here. No. Wait a minute. No, we'll have to change this. It's this way around. Okay. Okay, so I'll have to store my Docker Hub credentials in Travis. And I'm going to do this, but I'll try my new secret stuff overlay that I have created especially for situations like this. Okay, that's a bit boring. There should have been an image. But anyway, I leave it with the blank screen. Sorry for the lack of sound. I didn't set up my microphone for my secret screen. I'll fix that later. And let me move my Travis window over here, just to be sure that credentials don't get displayed. But I'm still waiting for the new Travis shop anyway. Typical Mac user? No, it's just unexperienced Twitch streamer. I forgot to clone the microphone setup for the other scene that I set up, where my terminal isn't displayed. Still waiting for the chop to start. Well, okay. Oh, no, it's starting. Okay. Okay, so I guess if this doesn't work, it'll be easy to fix and I won't bore you with the details. However, I'll simply stay around for a few more minutes to chat. And I'll have one of my eyes on the build log. So is there anything you'd like to chat about? Anything you'd like to ask? Any feedback? Okay, yeah, so there's no chance for the passwords to turn up in the log because I forgot to do a push in my Travis YAML. If I'd like to work on something together, what do you have in mind? My schedule will probably not allow me to start additional projects, even if it's just a side project, but I'm still curious to see what you have in mind. Any common problems you face at work we can look into development something for? Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing here already. Most of the time I pick stuff that we actually need at work. In this case, a container that allows us to easily log in and transfer stuff. Actually, I have been thinking about doing pair programming on the stream, however I don't know yet how to exactly do that. But it's an idea that I'm moving around in my head. Either with my teammates at the company or even, well, there could be even pair programming with followers. Just like in gaming, where people do raids with their followers or subscribers, we could do pair programming, and yeah, I'll think about that. So there's a new job running. Let me see. It does a build, but then the login fails. Interesting. Okay, so I'll have to check if my credentials are correct in the first place. However, it tried to do a login and it actually didn't output the password, as you can see, it just names the variables. Okay. That would be cool. My boss actually gave me £50 Amazon credits, so you can afford a decent mic. Yeah, but I'll get back to you on that. I'll think about these things. I have never done pair programming live with an audience, but it could be fun. Let's see how that works. Oh, I guess I have all the services that I'd need. Something like Zoom to have a video conference, and then again stream the video conference. I also have the sound stuff that I'd need to stream sound from Zoom to Twitch, and yeah, I'll play around, and you don't have to speak German, I guess. Yeah, that would be a fun thing, and that would be worth being promoted as well. All right, boys and girls, I guess that's it for today. I'll check my credentials and why they're not working. And as soon as that works, I should be able to push the newly built image to the Docker Hub, from where we can then go ahead and use it. And if there's something else worth noting, I'll tell you in my next session, which will be on Thursday at the same time, 3:30 p.m. GMT. As always, if you haven't followed the channel yet, please follow it. It will really help the stream. And if there's anything you'd like to suggest or to give me feedback on, use the GitHub URL down there to simply create a GitHub issue, and I'll go ahead and read it. And I guess that's it. So until next time, cheers.